Hello and welcome back. It's me, Amy. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for joining me again, for being here with me. I really love this space, and while I seem to get closer and closer to having some decisions made, I wanted to share with you a little bit about a few of the things that have become most obvious to me in this last year of my deep reflection, of traveling, of really trying to sort out where I want to be. I've had to get very clear on what really matters to me. And of course, I know what matters to me overall, but when I remove everybody else, when I really think about my short and long-term goals and the things within that I want to experience, that I want to accomplish, and how they may interact with each other, that has helped me get to a place I'm at now while I am making decisions that are going to help me kind of walk through this in-between place I've been. I want to say that decisions that I'm making, these are not what I thought I was going to decide on 8 months ago at all, but I've allowed myself the space to explore, to travel, to go and be alone, to be quiet, and really just think about, well, what do I want in the short term? What do I want in the long term? And what is happening around me that can either support that or maybe not be supportive of some of these things right now. One of the things is that community is really important to me right now. That was actually my New Year's resolution, was community. Just the intention of connecting more to others, whether it's here in a space like this or in real life. And I did a really good job of that this last year. Going down to North Carolina for a couple months alone though, and then having a really hard time at the places I had booked, made me realize that I really want a home base. As much as I've got this little bit of a gypsy soul in me, it doesn't feel good to only have that. I gained a lot of clarity of that this summer. And this really led me into reflecting on, okay, what does a home base look like for me? And for me, one of those things is home ownership. That's always been extremely important to me. And although I've owned a home, I owned it with somebody. A part of me wants to go live in a city that I'm in love with, but most of the cities I'm in love with are not cities that I can go and buy a house on my own because of the price point. I kind of felt like I was at this fork in the road of saying, okay, if I do want to live in a home and not traveling for a little bit to see where I want to live like I had initially said, I think the little mini bit of travel I did really put into perspective aspects of that although may happen, that isn't feeling like what I need to be happening right now. There are too many other things I kind of want in place and foundational that I don't have in place at the moment. And so that experience would feel very different if I went and did that now just because I said that's what I was going to do. It's important that we allow ourselves to say, although this is what I thought I was going to do, I think that something else is just a little bit more aligned for me right now, to not feel like we have to do something just because we said we were going to do the thing. So climate is also really important to me. I don't like really cold winters. I love seasons. I really love seasons. And I learned that living in California, I missed the seasons, but I also don't like extremes. This weather is, well, it said 50 before I left, but I'm actually kind of warm in this coat and hat. But this weather, if this was the extent of how cold my winters were, that would be perfect. Because even living in Southern California for 10 years, I missed it getting a little bit cooler. I did. You really can't bundle up that much. I could not wear this coat there. I'd have to leave the coast for sure. And it's just interesting. I've been able to live in so many extremes and really just recognize what I like weather-wise overall. And not that we ever get anything totally perfect, because that's not real, but just really figuring out a place where it's something that feels like, oh yeah, I can, this is good for me. I can handle this. Maybe it gets a little bit too much of this or that, but it's the too much that is tolerable. Having family from Michigan and having lived here for several years in my life, that's where I'm at right now. I don't want to live here forever at all. That is not part of my plan. But I can afford to buy here, and I can't afford to buy in the places I want to live long term. I also reflected on, well, what feels more aligned for what I do now. I could move. I could go rent a place in one of the places that I really love. They're mostly on the West Coast. I also have family on the West Coast, so a lot of it really makes sense for me, but it also didn't feel like some of my goals were attainable if I do that first. I think that there's this element of being a little bit practical of what is in this moment, what is current, and also allowing ourselves to have so much belief in ourselves, faith in ourselves of what our dreams are and knowing we can attain them. And so that's also been something I've kind of been moving back and forth with. But then I had to simplify. What is the thing that just feels so simple right now? Especially because for me, I am a little bit overwhelmed by what's going on in the world around us. At the moment, some of the things I thought I wanted to do don't quite feel as exciting as they did a year ago when I was thinking about them. We often picture our lives as linear, and we do things in this order. And if you go out of order, you're not doing it right. I do feel like I've actually been judged quite a bit in my life for the fact that I don't do things in this linear order, and that my focus has not just been on the white picket fence, chasing a career, climbing any corporate ladders, getting married. Those have never been the main focus for me, just naturally. I have experienced some of those things. I have some of those things right now, but they haven't been the only thing I've allowed myself to focus on. It's been really important to me to also say what's in my heart. My soul came here to have certain experiences and lessons. I think when we feel really resistant or complacent or not good inside, it's because we're not in alignment with our souls, with what really feels right for us. So I've had to kind of see, almost like looking at like dice, okay, in front of you, and each one has a certain experience that you want to have in this lifetime, whether it is career or marriage or home ownership, any of those things, whatever they are for you. It's almost like I have unknowingly been kind of trying to move them around and say, what can I do now? Or if I do this now, where can I do this as well? Or maybe some of these things I think I want to do, but maybe they're not quite as important as I thought they were at this moment. And maybe they will be again, or they're still there, they're still a part of it, but they're not the things I need to focus on right now. I just can move them to the background for a moment. And so that's kind of where I've been at, and really saying, how important is home ownership to me? Having my own home that I own by myself without anybody else. How important is going and renting on the West Coast? What does employment look like for me if I do those things? Even if it's self-employment, but what is the reality of that if I go do that right now? And so I'm just allowing myself to have this awareness. I will say that I am so grateful for this time, and being in it has definitely felt like I'm in a sleeping bag. And that's kind of the analogy I use when I'm just like, oh my gosh, get me out of here, when I feel claustrophobic. I don't like sleeping bags. But I also know that this time when I'm a little bit further away from it, and it can really be hindsight, is so pivotal in my journey and in the next 10 years of my life. As I continue to share with you decisions I'm making, I just wanted to share with you kind of like how I came to where I'm at with it right now. For today, that's what I've got. I'm heading out this week to go and visit some family in the Seattle area, which I am so excited about. I'm just really looking forward to spending time with family, shaking up the energy a little bit. That always helps me so much. And I will definitely be sharing some of that trip with you. I hope you have the best day, and thank you so much for being here and sharing this space with me. Talk to you next time. Bye.